Hello and welcome to Quartz Like Your Car Brochure channel. In today's episode, it's the turn of the Ford Maverick. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartz Light, we're a car brochure channel. We look at cars from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. If you think that might interest you, please consider subscribing. Today's episode is for this car, the Ford Maverick. I'm sure many of you have probably clicked on this episode to see a completely different car. The term Maverick was really an overused term in the world of Ford, really. From, an American car to today being like a small Ford truck. And somewhere in between was this four-wheel drive vehicle. It was introduced in 1993 as a joint venture with Nissan, who had the same vehicle called a Nissan Terrano 2. Bit of badge engineering. The thing was though, Nissan really did all the work, and Ford just, gave a bit of money towards it. Really wanted an off-road vehicle because that's what everyone wanted at the time. Although it was kind of like a little bit late to the party by this time. Now, I guess justice was really served because the Nissan Terrano way outsold this Ford or rebadged Ford Maverick because it had keener pricing and a better warranty. But anyway, this is today's brochure and it's from 1995, so let's have a look at that now. Okay, so here is the brochure, Maverick as it says on top. Kind of a little bit of strange title there, the best off-roader on the road. And actually they were better than you thought off-road, actually, surprisingly enough. So this is the Maverick 4x4 range in one of my favourite colours. There is a colour chart at the end which we'll have a look at later on. The date of this brochure is October 95, and around about May 95 they kind of added this little bit of a chrome bit to the front end to, I guess, distinguish it from the Nissan, and also just to make it a little bit prettier. And you also got these, remember when these bull bars were all the rage on there as well. I wouldn't say it was an attractive design, and really today I would imagine that'd be quite a rare vehicle in the UK. I don't know how many of them are left, but like I say, more Nissan than Ford. I know it's Ford Fridays, we're celebrating Fords on Fridays, but really these were more Nissan than Ford. Like I said, Ford really just gave Nissan a load of money and said let's do a joint venture because they really wanted a four-wheel drive vehicle. But anyway, we'll look through this brochure and see what kind of like the range was like at this time. So as we turn the page, there's this little image called Expedition Earth 2000, look like they're using the Ford Maverick for that event. Quite liked how the colour coordinated the bull bar with the colour there. That was quite interesting. This brochure is quite big, so we're not going to spend too much time on each page because ultimately we really want to look at what trim levels were available, and there were only actually two at this time. But interestingly, you can get it as a 4-door or as a 2-door, so we might just have a little bit of a zoom in there. So this is your base model. Actually, it's a 3-door model. We'll have a look at the graphic in the moment, but you can see a much more of this sort of like A-bar style. Or a little nudge bar in the middle there, rather than that fancy colour coordinated one. Just steel wheels. And when it was first introduced to Maverick, I don't think the base model had a name, but around about this time Ford started using the term Aspen in Europe to denote their base model. So that is the base model. They also had I think they were quite crude little decals that even companies like Land Rover, they discovered they started using decals that really didn't really add anything. I don't think it just made it look a little bit cheaper, if you ask me. But anyway, unusual styling. If you can look at that back window, it swoops up there. They did look like quite an unusual car, but like I said, they were quite quite respectable off-road, surprisingly enough, but certainly very crude, particularly by today's standards. I mean, if you jumped in one of these, particularly diesel, it would seem very agricultural. Now this, surprisingly, you would think is a higher spec model, but it looks like it's also the Aspen, the base model, but it's showing it with alloy wheels and this colour coordinated bull bar, so I'm assuming that's kind of the base model with like lots of accessories added on. But like I say, we will look at the full specifications later on. So yeah, so quite confusingly, they are both base models, 2-door, 4-door. I should really call them a 3-door and a 5-door, really, shouldn't I? As it has got a big door on the back. You can also see these roof rails on there as well, which I'm surprised on the base model. But anyway, let's move on. So here is the Aspen, as it says at the top there. Your base model of only 2 models. Confusingly again, showing it with alloy wheels, a roof bar, which it didn't show on that first one. So a little bit confusion of what this model is really all about. Shown here in a 3-door guise. So I guess we should read some of this spec just to really understand what's going on here. So the Maverick Aspen is both available as a 3-door or a 5-door. It's calling them a short and a long wheelbase configuration, and is comprehensive equipped. So central door locking and electrically operated front windows with 1 shot, lowering on the driver's side or standard, as are the electrically operated and heated door mirrors. Fog lights and grille bar distinguish the front end, and a safeguard engine immobiliser is now fitted on both petrol and diesel models. Standard exterior features include canvas spare wheel cover with Maverick logo, electrically operated and heated door mirrors, variable interval intermittent front wipers, rear wiper with intermittent wipe and electric wash, and central locking. So by Ford standards, you know, it was quite well equipped even as this base model. And you can see there 2 engine choices, the 2.4 and the 2.7 TD, which was quite a crude engine. Same engines used in the Nissan versions. Here is another little image of it, this time showing that it's not really a bull bar, is it, with this little bit of a thing, but this front grill bar, I think it's calling it. The fog lamps, no alloy wheels on this model, no roof bars on this model either, so just to further confuse it, matters what the Aspen was really all about. So here is a look at the interior of this model, the Aspen base model. If we look at this interior, I think we may as well zoom in on it. And really, do you even recognise that as a Ford interior? I certainly don't. We're all swooping at this stage for Fords. This is a very, very particular design, and really think more Nissan Primera, I think, with this sort of design. So like I said, not much Ford went into this Ford apart from the badging, I don't think. And then it tells you a little bit about the Aspen. And the interior of the Maverick Aspen is both stylish and practical. Comfort items include fully adjustable front seating, adjustable seatbelt mounts, and a centre console with armrest. For convenience, seat back storage pockets are provided on the front seat, and the instrument panel shelf has a non-slip rubber mat. The driver benefits from an at-a-glance fascia and fingertip controls, all of which complement Maverick's standard power-assisted steering. So, standard interior features: driver's airbag, front windows, electric operated rear windows on the 5-door. I think they were just like pop-out windows on the 3-door. 2007 stereo radio cassette, and optional features. Here we go. Some options are you get CFC free air conditioning, an electrically operated tilt or slide sunroof. A few little features seat back storages, nothing out of the ordinary. Height adjustable seat belts, central locking, and if you wanted to, you could get electrically operated sunroof as an option on the Aspen or standard on the GLX. Then we get to this model, the GLX, or the top of the range, or second of only two models. I guess it's kind of like mirrors what we looked at last week with the Galaxy. When that was launched, there was only the Aspen and the GLX. Well, on launch for this one, there was a base model in the GLX, and then in about May 95 they introduced that Aspen trim, just to confuse matters. So here we've got the top of the range model now. Certainly couldn't say it was an attractive car. We got like two lots of lights, some in the bumper, some going up, similar to what Discovery was doing actually with their sort of two light styles. Colour coordinated everything. We've got the roof bars, and we've got that sort of Maverick wheel cover, which I remember so well actually, and I always used to think, what on earth was it supposed to be? It's an unusual little design. I always used to think it was the legs of an ostrich. That's all I could ever see in that, but an unusual little design. And you can also see how it's badged the GLX. Another little bit of an image here in a different colour. You can see those headlamp washers as well. Very nice. So what's it telling us we've got here? So the GLX is the luxury model in the Maverick range, featuring stylish alloy wheels, velour seat fabric, electrically operated front windows and rear on the 5 doors, full depth body colour bumpers, 3-door version has a 2.4 EFI, and the long wheelbase model has a 2.7 turbo diesel as standard. So exterior features include those body colour bumpers, alloy wheels, body colour door mirror housings, and headlamp washer jets. And then just to confirm with this model, the GLX long wheelbase is a 2.4 turbo diesel. The GLX 3-door is a 2.4 injection petrol. So yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, does it? It must be a misprint. There wasn't a 2.4 turbo diesel, it was a 2.7 turbo diesel, of course, so a little bit of an error there. Lovely shot next of this top of the range interior. Looking, a very practical place to be, and also got these rear facing seats, which you certainly don't see anymore. It also gives you an idea how that rear tailgate opens, and you can see, I presume that must be the 3-door model. I'm not entirely sure from that picture. No, it must be the 5-door. There isn't that much space there, there really is. I'm just surprised at the lack of space if that is the 5-door model. And then we got a couple of little images, electric operated windows and this central locking. But it tells us here that the GLX boasts an interior of saloon car status with Roma velour seat trims and a leather trimmed steering wheel. Comfort and style are foremost. The thoughtfully designed central console and instrument cluster ensure drivers of an environment where everything is ideally positioned. The front reading lights further add to the GLX's high level of interior comfort. Standard features: driver's airbag, front reading lights, height adjustable driver's seat, adjustable lumbar support on the driver's seat, electrically operated tilt or slide sunroof, electrically operated front windows, electrically operated rear windows on the 5-door, that 2007 stereo radio cassette, and options are this time CFC free air conditioning, but you could even get leather trim if you wanted. And then we got this page talking about the Maverick capabilities. We can see it first of all in sort of your town or city environment with, all the passengers, like 6 people in there. And then on the opposite page we can see it doing a little bit of off-roading, which I'm sure none of them ever did. And it gives us some like approach angles there, 48%, 350mm wading depth, 37% maximal climbing angle, and this sort of ground clearance chart, and this approach and departure angles. Everyone used to love looking at these on these off-road vehicles, but like I say, I'm sure the worst it ever did was maybe a bit of a speed hump in your supermarket car park. On this side it also gives you an idea of sort of like the ways you could flip and open those seats to give you various different ideas. Well, it looks like, I would make a mistake there actually, it looks like that isn't a rear facing seat. It does actually face the right way, but it looks a very basic and not very comfortable seat, doesn't it? On this page it's kind of like, well, it's called proven performance, talking a bit about towing. It's also showing this four-wheel drive system, telling us it's a selectable system, so most of the time you are in two-wheel drive, but then you can select the four-wheel drive system. On the opposite page he's talking a little bit about the equipment. So there's the GLX's headlamp washers in action. What else have we got here? We've got these heated door mirrors, this electric sunroof, standard on your GLX, optional on your Aspen. CFC is an option, sorry, not CFC, air conditioning is an option on either model. Some kind of security system. Driver's airbag. And those front fog lamps. We'll only get the specification pages, so we'll certainly have a look at that. Like I said, only two models, the Aspen and the GLX. Two sizes though, the short wheelbase and the long wheelbase. That's telling you a little bit about the weights. I'm not going to talk through all this, but if you really want to, then you can certainly pause the screen at any time. This is just all the dimensions, which I kind of skip through purely because it's very hard to show on camera the dimensions of the vehicle. That's some of the engine data. So it's a 2389cc petrol or a 2663cc turbo diesel. Apparently that turbo diesel was very agricultural, so he was probably better with the petrol. Performance wise, short wheelbase, top speed of the petrol is 99, top speed of the diesel is 90. I think the problem, this is where the problem is really highlighted really. So the short wheelbase petrol 0 to 62 in 13.2 seconds. The diesel, however, 19 seconds 0 to 62. That is particularly slow for the mid-90s. Long wheelbase, even worse. The petrol top speed is still 99, but it's doing it in 14 seconds 0 to 62. The diesel, still a top speed of 90, but 19.9 seconds 0 to 62. That is certainly very, very slow at this time. So it would feel very sluggish driving it around on the normal roads, which of course all of them did. But I guess cars like this really led to the modern SUV, which had good fuel economy but looked like it went off-road but didn't really. It's just what people want, I guess. There we go, that shows some of the equipment for the Aspen and the GLX. Only difference really there is the turning circle. Interior features, and this is really the only way we can kind of determine how to identify an Aspen from a GLX, because the pictures really showed, was very confusing how it showed them in two different looks. The bumper is only grey on the Aspen, on the GLX it's always the body colour. The wheels, they're always the steel wheels on the Aspen, alloy wheels standard on the GLX. I'm sure you could get the other alloy wheels as some kind of option on the Aspen, but like I say, always confusing when they show these cars in the brochure, and they don't really come with that. The old Ford brochures always used to say, this is this vehicle with these extras. These more modern, still the 90s, a long time ago, but these more modern brochures seem to omit that, so that is certainly confusing. A few more information. The main thing there is the washer jets on them headlamps on the GLX, I think. We then move on to the interior features. Main difference is the GLX has got reading lights at the front, and it's also got driver's height adjust and driver's adjustable lumbar support. Like I said, you can pause the screen if you want to at any time. More interior features. Main thing on this one is really the GLX has got that electric sunroof. But, you know, it was still quite well equipped, really, wasn't it, the Aspen? Okay, and then you get these star appearance packs, and this really explains the original pictures of the Aspen, because you can add all those appearance packs to make it look like a GLX, or even more than a GLX. So we got a 1-star pack. It's got body colour bumpers and alloy wheels. You get them already on the GLX, but you can add that 1-star pack. It just looks like a GLX. 2-star pack adds that soft feel front bar. 3-star pack adds wheel arch extensions, rear light guards, hard spur wheel cover. 4-star pack also throws in that front bar as well, and the 5-star pack, which also adds chrome sidebars and chrome tailpipe finisher on the 3-door, a full length side steps on the 5-door, and a rear spoiler with internal stop lamp. So really, this model was really more about than being those standard 2 trim levels. It was more about these sort of appearance packs you could get. And then this page really highlights them sort of appearance packs. Like I say, this model is only the Aspen model, but it's got all the appearance packs on it, so it gets this roof bars, you get these nice alloy wheels, side steps, hard wheel cover. So it now looks like a very high spec vehicle, doesn't it? This one's also, this must be the 5-star, because you also get this little middle light on this sort of spoiler, and also on the 5-door. This is the GLX with some of those 5-star appearance packs on that as well, including these little side steps, etc., and these wheel arch extensions, which are also actually on this, which is kind of like highlights those wheel arch extensions. But with all this appearance packs, it certainly makes the 3-door Maverick look a little bit special, I think. And then here it's kind of like showing those all-terrain alloy wheels, floor mats, dog guards, global rear vision lens, luggage space liner, hard tonneau cover. And then you've got your snow ski attachments, your secure combi box, surfboard windsurf attachments, water ski snowboard attachments for optional roof bars. So you could certainly spec it any way you could. And then the final page, this is talking about in the countryside, it's sort of like the do's and don'ts sort of off-roading. I don't think you'd ever see a Maverick this far off-road, really, would you? But the do's and don'ts, do's and don'ts, I should say, of off-roading and using winches, etc. Because, you know, it was actually quite capable, even though I'm sure it was never used for that. And then finally we get to the colours. So we'll start with the interior colours, I think. We get this unusual, what's it called, the Brauhaus fabric. And then the Roma velour, so obviously the velour is your GLX model. 2 solid colours only, Volcano Red and Davos White. Davos White, it sounds like something from Doctor Who, doesn't it? Colours, Oasis Blue, which I do like that Oasis Blue, Canyon Red, Chianti Red, which I do like on these, Eclipse Black, Metallic Grey, Java Blue, and Mallard Green. And then down at the bottom it just tells us like all those colours are available on whichever model you get. The only difference is that trim, the Roma being the velour on the GLX. So really, one of the few reasons to get the GLX would just be for that velour interior, I guess. So there you go, that brings us to the end of Ford Fridays and the Ford Maverick 1995 brochure review. If you got any memories of the Maverick, certainly jot them in the comments. I remember them seeing them everywhere. They were quite popular, wasn't they? Although, like I said, the Nissan Terrano was a real seller. Probably most of the time I was seeing that Terrano. But thank you for watching today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Friday, hooray. There will be a Saturday episode, which is just a shorter version. I'm not sure what brochure I'm going to do for them. You'll have to wait and see. I've not actually produced it yet. But thank you so much for watching today's episode. Many more brochure reviews to come in the future, so please do like and subscribe. But for now, we'll say take care, have a great day, and see you soon. Bye bye.